message with you all. Um, I share, with my members, a few things that only I could share with the members. So if you want the specific revelations and messages, join the membership. Okay. So let me tell you, chosen ones, there is no one on this earth that has your back. No one has your back. As a chosen one, no physical person has your back. I don't care what anybody says. If you truly are a chosen one, if you truly are a person, and I'm not saying that you're better than anyone, because to be carrying this title chosen, you don't been through hell and back. You didn't even want what you have. Look, you didn't even want the gift that you have. You didn't want the light that you have. You didn't want the magneticism, being people drawn to you, you being magnetic, you being like a well-rounded person. You didn't want that. You didn't want that. Because people just use this term chosen as if it's something, to be glorified, which it is, but then what you have to go through, you didn't want that. That was given to you at birth. You didn't want to go through all of the trauma and betrayals and hurt and pain that you had to experience, right? You didn't want to go through that, but you already know now that you know it was for a reason, and you understand why you had to go through that. But one thing about it, what I wanted to come share with you all don't have natural support. You don't have natural support. You don't have people physically in this world supporting you. All of your support is spiritual, because you'll have people to betray you like you nothing. You'll have people to betray you like you ain't nothing, like you never did nothing for them, not like you never loved and cared for them. They'll find a reason to betray you. They'll find a reason to not like you. They'll find a reason to hate you. They never want to get to understand where you're coming from, but always want you to understand where they're coming from. And you're good at it. You always want to get an understanding. You've been doing that from day one. But when it comes to you, people don't want to understand your view. They don't want to understand maybe how you feel. They don't want to understand maybe where you coming from or how you see certain things, right? Only thing they're looking for is a way and a reason to betray you, a way and a reason to turn their backs on you, a way and a reason to say, you're not for them. You're not supporting them. They're just looking for a way. Your backup, chosen one, is spiritual. You never had anyone there for you. Your family never supported you like that. Your friends never supported you like that. Your children never supported you like that. No one never supported you how your heart is postured and fixed to support them. You never had that, and you're never going to get it, so you can stop looking for it. All of your support, once you realize all of your support is spiritual, and that means, I'm not saying that a physical person won't ever help you, but what I'm saying is the people who you want to support you, the people who you support and be there for, they're not going to support you and be there for you like you will be there for them. Your support is going to come spiritually. You got spiritual backup, which means God will put destiny helpers in your life. God will send that mom that you never had. God will send that dad that you never had. God will send that child that you never had. God will send that friend that you never had. And that's a spiritual connection. He'll send you what you need on a spiritual level. But it's not from somebody who you've cultivated a relationship, somebody who you birthed, or somebody who you know. Your support is not coming from that. Your support, your betrayal will come from those because they're close to you. They're close up on you. The very ones who you sacrifice for will be the ones that slice your throat, so to say. Hope you too don't take this out. Those will be the ones to betray you. They will be the ones that turn against you. They will be the ones that team up with other people against you. Because it's not them, they're opposing that spirit in you. They're opposing the light in you. It's nothing you've done. Once you realize if it's nothing you've done, and what people want to do, when you're chosen and you have a light and you're going to stand for what's right and you're going to stand for righteous, what's right. You know, you don't know why you're the way you are other than, you know, you chosen. You're going to stand for what's right. You're going to do what's right. No, you're not perfect, but you're not going to stand on the side of wrong. You're not going to stand on the side. If your spirit is being convicted, you're not going to go on the other side and stand on there just to please people. You're willing to lose people. One thing I've learned when I went through my betrayal in 2020, I learned when I went through that worst betrayal of my life, right? Dealing with family. One thing I said I would never do again in my life. I said I would never not speak up and stand up for the truth. I would rather be by myself and be, you know, like I'd rather be standing alone than to try to prove something to somebody else to let them see that I'm trying to stand for what's right. I said I'd never do that again. I'll lose anything. The cat, the dog. I'm not running behind nobody else when it comes to standing on what's right. When it comes to knowing if I didn't do anything to a person, and, you know, when it comes to simple misunderstandings, I don't care who it is. Because what the enemy will do, the enemy will use people close to you as a distraction. He don't want you to get your healing. He don't want you to be delivered. Have you ever noticed every time you try to step 10, you know, you take 10 steps forward, the enemy use people close to you to try to pull you 10 back, 20 back? They be all in this wishy-washy energy. They be all in this push and pull energy, and you can feel it. You can feel it. You can feel this push and pull. And ain't nobody got time for that. I know I don't have time for that. It's either you with me or are you not. I don't care who it is. And that's why I say that's why I say when you chosen, you don't have backup like that. If people don't have a pure heart, if they're not seeking the things of God, the enemy will get into them and the enemy will use them. The enemy will use those closest to you against you. The enemy will get in your children and use your children against you. The enemy will get in your spouse and use your spouse against you. If they don't have a pure heart, if they're not seeking the things of God, don't think them kids, don't think the enemy won't use them against you because he know you love them. It happened to me more than one time. It happened to me. I know that thing is book worthy. But see, I was already up on game. I already saw what the enemy was trying to do. When you know you didn't do nothing and your intentions are pure, your intentions are right. And I talk about it because people need to understand how the enemy moves. He'll try to use your children to make you feel guilty because you don't come into agreement with stuff. He'll try to use that against you. He'll try to use them out there acting a fool as if that's your fault because they're reaping, you know, the consequences of their decision. And you can't take that on. You can't take that on. If you know your hearts are pure and you told and showed these kids the right thing to do and you stand on what's right, you can't take that on. That's called reaping the consequences of your actions. Just like I reap the consequences of my sin, you reaping the consequences of your sin. I'm not taking that on. I was one of them people. I was one of them parents that'll ride or die for my children. And I know I may be judged for this. I don't care, but I'm going to say it. I was one of them parents that'll ride. I said I was going to be there. I'm going to do this and that. But if they doing something where they're not using their common sense, they're not using, you know, they don't want to listen to wise counsel, I'm going to let them fall. I'm going to let them fall, and I'm going to watch it with tough love. I surely am. And I'm not going to feel no type of way about it because one thing I know, the enemy will use, when your heart is pure and you coming from a pure place, you're not trying to control nobody. You want the best. Any good parent, any good person want the best for their children, want the best for their nieces, their nephews, and you're going to try to guide them. But sometimes people get to where they don't want to listen to you. They don't want your wise counsel. They don't want to listen to wise, solid counsel. They'll rather listen to somebody who don't have their good interests. They'll rather listen to somebody who can't see 5 and 6 and 7 years down the road of, that they'll rather listen to somebody who can't see far, right? They'll rather listen to somebody who don't have their best interest, who's going to satisfy their desires of their flesh. And you see this thing from a spiritual perspective, because when you're chosen, your eyes are open spiritually. Your eyes are open spiritually. You can see even the consequences of you can see the results and the consequences of your actions. You can see, like, when I did this why this is happening. Okay, when I was in this sin, okay, this is why I'm reaping the harvest, okay? You reaping the consequences of what you did. You can see that. And you learn too. Sometimes you may fall, but you learn, because it's a process, right? But people don't understand, when you have people would rather listen to people who will destroy them, because we want what the flesh want. We don't want to listen to nothing that's pure. We don't want to listen to nothing that's righteous. Everybody want to do what's in their flesh. They want to satisfy the flesh. They want to listen to things that's going to gratify the flesh. They think they could reap righteousness when all they listen to is garbage. They think they can reap good harvest when all you put in your spirit is garbage. They think they can reap success, that's going to be pure, and that's going to be righteous, and that's going to lead to you being in good standing with your spirit, when they entertain in garbage, when they involved in garbage. Because, a lot of people, you can get what you want in this world. You can get what you want. Either you can get it dirty or clean. Whatever you want, you can get it. But are you going to have a peace of mind? Are you going to be peaceful in your spirit? Will your spirit be at peace? Because you can have it. But at what cost? At what cost? People don't like to listen to folks who, one thing I liked about myself growing up, I wanted to grow. I wanted people to tell me the right thing, because I didn't have a whole lot of guidance outside of my grandmother's, and they only could take me so far. I wanted somebody to come in and say, you know what, baby, don't dress this way, dress this way. Because when you dress like this, people are going to approach you a certain way. I wanted somebody to come and correct me, but I really never had that all the time. God sent people here and there to help me, but I never really had that. And see, sometimes when you don't have something, you think because you didn't have it, and you try to give it to somebody else who don't understand what you've gone through, and you try to give it to them, and they don't want that. They don't want wise counsel, because they think they know it all. You can't tell certain people stuff. Just because you know how to pay a bill, and just because you know how to conduct business, don't mean that you know how to do things. This world is not so kind. You got to learn people. You got to know how to manage people in this world. You got to know how to manage spirits in this world. You got to know how to move and navigate and pay attention, and who's there to deceive you, who's there to monitor you, who's there to take you out. You got to know how to navigate this stuff. You got to know how to navigate it, but people don't want to listen. People don't want to listen. You try to, give them wise counsel, and that's what I had to stop doing. I had to stop volunteering information, because sometimes when you have like wisdom and you have like spiritual knowledge, sometimes you could volunteer information that the people didn't ask you to give. And I had to learn to stop being so, giving my advice when people didn't ask for it. Stop jumping in, try to save a situation when they didn't ask you. I had to learn that. And it's not easy, because if you're a person who is just a leader, a leader for one, and you feel like you got to do something because that's your spirit. That's just in your spirit. If somebody bring you a complaint, you feel like you got to fix it or do something or make it better, because that's just who you are. But I had to learn, if people didn't ask me, I can't, in certain situations, I just can't. It's in me, but I just have to learn how to pull it back. I have to learn how to fall back. Got to learn how to fall back. But you just have to be careful, because people, like I said, you don't have backup like that. You have people that use you until they get to where they want to go, right? Until they get to where they want to go. They'll use you until they get to where they want to go, and then act as if you ain't do nothing for them. Not knowing what's on the other side of you burning bridges, and the person, acting all funny with you. Because one thing about it, when you're chosen and you got a pure heart, and this is where God is waking most of us up at. He's waking a lot of y'all up who got this pure heart, who got this genuine heart, who got a heart of gold, and just will be there for people regardless of how many times people mistreated you. You will still accept them back. But in this season, God is waking his chosen up, and he's teaching you, right, to not be heartless, but to use your heart less. Like my girl Chris Speaks said, you're not going to be a fool anymore, where people get to trample over your heart and then have the nerve, after they don't trample over you, they don't mistreated you, they have the nerve to think they can apologize, and to think that you're going to put them back in the same place where you had them before. They think they can get back in that same position where they were before, after they don't trample over your heart, after they don't betrayed you, after they've lied on you, and they think they could just come back and will get mad because you won't restore their position. They think because time have passed, they think you have forgotten. They think religion have us thinking we're supposed to be God. We're not God. God say he will forget. That's not for us. We're supposed to forgive. We can't forget. You can't forget a snake bit you. How you gonna forget a snake don't bit you? A snake will always be a snake. I don't care how timid and humble and transform. When a person show you who they are, believe them. We want to try to, oh, that's my, I can't do my child like that. Oh, my sister. No. When people show you who they are, you got to believe them. And unfortunately, it be those ones who are close to us. You can love people, but once they burn that bridge, once they betray you, if God didn't tell you to restore that relationship back to its rightful place, you better not do it. You better not do it. And people think that you're going to always be there for them. They think that your heart is going to always be open, that they always going to have that place in your heart. They think they're going to always be able to mistreat you, come back in your in your life when they get ready. But God is waking his chosen up. He's closing the doors on some of these people. And I know y'all ain't going to agree. I know religious folks ain't going to agree. You got to forgive. Forgiveness, you got to. I'm not an advocate. I'm not against that. I always talk about forgiveness. But you can't let these people back in your life who once tried to destroy you. And you got to be side-eyed and look side-eyed to the people and keep them at a distance and watch and monitor them, the ones who are attached, right? The ones who are close. See, where I come from, how I grew up, your loyalty is with the person. When you loyal to a person, right, and you know that person is good and you know that person is pure, your loyalty is going to be with that person. Your loyalty is going to be with the person who got your back. Your loyalty is not going to be with the person who tried to destroy the person who got your back. Because one thing the enemy will do, he want to play both sides. He want to play both sides. He want to make people choose. Right? He want to make people choose. And one thing you got to do in this season, when people choose their side, make them stand on it. Make them stand on it. When they choose their side, when they show you that they're not for you, make them stand on business. And you stand on business. When you know your heart was pure, your heart is pure against them. Your heart is genuine against them. You make them stand on business. Let folks go on with their lives. Make folks go on with their lives, because if you keep being entangled with these people, you're not going to fulfill your purpose. You're not going to fulfill your destiny, because your focus is always going to be on them, what they doing, what they saying, who they're connecting with. I wonder what they're doing. I wonder what they're planning. I wonder what they're plotting. You don't have time for that, because I know I don't. I don't have time for that. My purpose is too great to be focused on, small stuff and trying to focus on if a person is with me or not. This is not the season for that. Too much going on in the world. Hey, Carol. Too much going on in the world for you to be connected with people that's going to keep you stagnant. People that's trying to hinder you from your purpose. Anything that's trying to distract me from my purpose got to go. And I don't feel nowhere about it. It can be my kids. That's number one. It can be the cat. It can be the dog. Anything that's trying to distract me from what God is trying to do in my life, it got to go. Because if you don't stand firm and you don't make a declaration like that, guess what you're going to do? Guess where you're going to be? Stagnant, broke, busted, and disgusted. Because when there's division and when people are not for you, that creates division. If people are not standing with you, that creates division, and that keeps you stuck. It keeps you stuck. You can feel that energy. You can feel that back and forth, that pull and tug, that energy shift. It'll keep you in that spiritual stagnation. And that's why when I was telling the group, that's why I was telling them, you gotta stay prayed up. Because what the fight we're fighting is not natural. It's a spiritual fight. That's why people come around. 1 minute they're okay, 1 minute they like the energy shifting. That's a spiritual fight. That's them demons, right? That's them demons contending with you and the demons contending with them against you. One minute they for you, the next minute they're not. One minute they want to pretend like they're for you and like they, in your good graces. The next minute they're not. You can feel that shift and pull. You can feel them coming and going because they're behind your back, planning and plotting. They're talking about you behind your back. They're discussing you behind your back. And you got to know this. When you feel all them different weird energies, weird vibes, oh, it was a discussion. That their spirit is telling on them. They feeling some type of way in their spirit. Their energy is telling them. Their energy precedes them. So you have to pay attention to that. There is a shift. One thing I had to realize, I had to tell myself, Monique, everybody's not you. Just because you wouldn't do it, don't mean that they won't do it. And we tend to do that a lot. We tend to project and put our, what we wouldn't do and how we wouldn't be slimy and snaky. That don't mean the next person won't do it. I had to remind myself. Your loyalty is different from other people's loyalty, Monique. Your loyalty is different. People will sell you out for a bowl of soup. They'll sell you out for a bowl of soup. They'll turn on you for a bowl of soup. They'll team up with other people against you for a bowl of soup for nothing. And that's why I say our support is not natural. A true chosen one. Nobody, you don't have nobody in your corner. And you got to realize that. But guess what? You can't let that steal your joy, because the enemy is out to kill, steal, and destroy. He wants you to be sad. He wants to steal your joy. So what he'll do, he'll use the people around you. He'll use the people where he think. That's why we got to change the posture of our heart. We can't have nobody on our heart before God. If you got your children on your heart, take them off. If they on the throne of your heart, take everybody off the throne of your heart so you won't be disappointed. Because if them children are not led, if they're not Holy Spirit led, they will bite the dog mess out of you. They will cut you so quick, you won't know what sliced you. They will cut you so quick, you won't know what sliced you. Ask me how I know. They will betray you like ain't nobody's business. They will team up against you like it's nobody's business. They will try to destroy your character like it's nobody's business. And then go pretending like they ain't do nothing. Pretend like they ain't do nothing, or pretend like they so, so sad and so no, the devil, they let the enemy use them. Then after they come to their senses, I guess when the spirits the demons don't jump off of them, then they act as if you supposed to just act as everything is. No, you can't do that. That's not wise. I understand how people may feel. They don't have you. They don't have your feelings. They don't have your spirit. They don't have the unction and the uncomfortable feelings that you have about situations. They don't have that. You got to follow your guts. You got to follow your spirit. You got to listen to that. Because what I'm seeing on TV, parents are being unalived. That's what I'm seeing on TV. They're being unalived. You got to listen to your spirit. I don't care what nobody says. You got to listen to your spirit. When your spirit talking, you listen to it. Don't worry about what people talk about in the natural. Don't worry about that. You got to be sure and comfortable within yourself. People call you cuckoo. Let them say what they want to say. They didn't experience what you experienced. They were not there with you. They don't have your body. They don't have your, emotions. They don't have your spirit. You got to trust that. And that's where the enemy gets us. We let our guard down when it's blood. We let our guard down when it's people we know. We let our guard down when it's an ex, when it's a friend. No, your spirit's supposed to be up. Those are the people that'll shank you in the spirit. Those are the ones that'll shank you. The ones close to you will be the ones that shank you the most because they familiar with you. They study you. Y'all got some people right now studying you to see how they can betray you. See where it's gonna hurt. See where they can take that spiritual, that spiritual shank and see where they can twist it. They watching your every move. They monitoring you. That's why I tell you, if you got anything on the throne of your heart, you better take it off. If you got anything, you got anybody on the throne of your heart that you love so dearly that you don't think they'll betray you, you better take them off. Because if they're not pure hearted, if they're not seeking God like you seeking God, they'll be the first ones to betray you. What the word say? That the enemy is roaming around seeking whom he may devour. He can't devour everybody. Even if he get into some people, when you seeking God, God will put a check in your spirit. He'll correct you. He'll correct you when you're doing wrong. Correct you when you're doing something wrong, when you're doing somebody wrong. But if they ain't got no check in their spirit about, oh, let me go apologize. Well, maybe I misunderstood, or maybe, they will betray you. They will betray you. So we got to be wise in this season. We got to be wise. I know one thing, I'm wise. I ain't got nothing on the throne in my heart. Because anybody, folks could betray you. I lowered my expectations. See, that's another thing. We'll have our expectations so high, people, and then when they disappoint us, or when they don't do something we think they should do, we're disappointed. I don't expect nothing from nobody anymore. My expectations are not, I don't expect things from people anymore like I used to. Expecting certain people to do this and certain people, I don't do that no more. To keep myself from being disappointed, I don't do it. But if you got anything on the throne of your heart, not saying you got to be perfect. I'm not talking about being religious. If you got anything or anybody where you just love so dearly, right, on the throne of your heart, you better take them down. Because those will be the same people. Because if you have them on the throne, that means you're idolizing them, right? If you got your children on the throne, if you got your husband on the throne, your wife on the throne, your best friend, whomever, that will be the first person that'll betray you. And then you idolizing them. And that's not a good thing. But that's what I want to come talk to you all about. Your backup is spiritual. You don't have nobody in the natural backing you up like that. You don't have nobody sticking with you, looking out for you. You got people, let me tell you, you got people that control other people against you. They'll lead this little demonic, gathering, right? To where they'll group up and have that energy shifting where everybody's against you. Everybody's against you. That's why When people are trying to play both sides, when people are connected to people who, let me tell you, when people are connected to people who try to destroy you, you got to be careful. Because even if they're not talking and trying to get them to turn against you, that spirit in them going to do the talking. People don't understand when you connected with folks and their heart is not pure. Like they say, if you're around 5 broke people, you're going to become the 6th one. If you're around 6 smokers all the time, you're going to become the 7th one. If you're around 8 thieves, you're going to become the 9th one. So people don't understand whether it's family or not. People think family is exempt, as if you're supposed to be around your family all the time. If your family is not doing what's right, if they're not living and doing what's right, you're going to become like them. Bad company. He didn't say bad company of strangers, bad company of certain people. Bad company corrupts good morals. That verse, what that verse is. Bad company. He put no clause in there. Only bad company of people who are not family, or only bad company of people who are not friends or co-workers or siblings. And some people wonder why they got this lackadaisical spirit. You can't get nothing done because you talk to a spirit every day that's lackadaisical. You can't get nothing done because that spirit don't want you to get nothing done. You exchanging energy with this low vibrational spirit every day, every other day, and think you're gonna be high vibration and think you're gonna be ambitious and doing stuff. This thing is serious. It's very spiritual. But you can't tell people nothing. Because they think you trying to stop them from hanging around folks. They probably think you trying to tell them who to hang around, who not to. No, this thing is spiritual. Wonder why you always lackadaisical, low energy. The person you talk to is lackadaisical, low energy. Wasting time, wasting energy. Non-productive. They non-productive. You gonna be non-productive. That's why so many people are waking up. So many people are waking up, and I'm here for it. I'm excited. So many people are waking up and realizing that we are really in a spiritual battle. We are really experiencing, having a spiritual experience. People are waking up out of low vibrational toxic families, low vibrational toxic marriages, stagnant relationships, non-productive, abusive relationships and friendships and familyships. People are waking up and walking away because they finally could see the truth. Before, folks couldn't see the truth. Now people are waking up. It's like they have a new set of eyes. They can see the truth. They can see what's holding them back. Now they have to go and unlearn everything they've been taught. Learn a different way of thinking and moving and being. Because now they have this new understanding and new knowledge. But people, and then too, let me tell you, when you're called to speak the truth, and just use your voice, things are going to, and see, that's why I think God separated me from a lot of my family, a lot of, people who I used to be around, separated me out of relationship, separated me. I mean, everything just was different, transformed, everything. And I think the reason he did that because when he tell you to say something, he don't want you to have no reservation. He don't want you to feel like if you say this, this is going to apply to this person, so I don't want to say it. That's when you idolize people. When you don't want to say the truth, when you don't want to speak the truth, that's when you know you have an idol in your life. That's when you know you have people in your life that you idolize. That's when you know you idolize your children, because instead of telling them the truth, you want to tell them something to make them feel good because you don't want them to stop talking to you. You don't want to tell your sister, your brother the truth because you don't want them to stop talking to you. Half of you all don't want to tell your friends the truth because you know that relationship is so surface. If you finally spoke up and told them the truth, you know y'all wouldn't be friends. 30 years gone down the drain because it was never genuine anyway. That's how that go. See, we don't want to speak the truth. Even with my truth, when I knew God was gonna use me to speak the truth, he said your truth gonna have to be spoken too. And that's why I'm very vocal, very bold, and I use it in wisdom. I have nothing to hide, nothing to prove, nothing to protect. He told me, when I tell you to speak and what I want you to say, that's what you say. I don't care if it make me look bad or have people thinking a certain way. It is what it is. After getting the spiritual beat down and getting spiritually mollywopped, you learn to be obedient. I don't care. I learned to be obedient. And see, when you start speaking truth and be obedient, it's going to come with a lot of hate. It's going to come with a lot of jealousy. It's going to come with all of the opposition that speaking the truth comes with. And that's okay. Family's not going to like you. Your children may rise up against you and hate you. Friends going to turn their back on you. Spouse going to try to hurt you, betray you. Co-workers may want to shun you. But you see, one thing about a truth teller, right? You already been through all those betrayals. You've been going through that since you got on earth. Since you came into this earth, you've been rejected. Since you came into this world, you've been rejected, constant betrayal, constant ostracizing. So it's normal to you. It's a way of life. And once you finally get to that point where you understand it, it won't bother you so much, because you'll know rejection is protection. Rejection is redirection. Rejection means that those people are not supposed to be a part of your life. But God will always send destiny helpers. I have always had destiny helpers in my life. When I didn't have the right people that supported me, God sent a destiny helper. He sent people to help me and support me and give me what I felt I was missing. Friends. I got good friends, spiritual friendships. A good church family. He'll send you what you need. But you just have to be obedient. A lot of times we don't want to be obedient because it's hard. It is hard being obedient. People going to think you're cuckoo. They're going to look at you weird, think you're weird, call you fake, say you're not this. But you got, long as you know your relationship, long as you know and listening for yourself, you got to be okay with that. You got to be okay with that. You got to be okay with everything that comes with it. And when I learned that, I don't worry about rejection. I let stuff roll off my shoulder and keep it moving. Keep it moving. Because once you take your eyes off what you're supposed to be doing, what God is calling you to do, now you distracted again. And the enemy will use people to distract you. That's why I did that video the other day. That's why prayer is so important. That's why we must do it every day. 2 and 3 times a day. Under your breath, in your car, everywhere you go. But that's what I want to share with you all. I hope your day is well. Hope y'all night is going good. I came here and I said a lot, okay? Because I did a video in my group too, my membership. But I just wanted to come and let you all know that somebody needs to hear that tonight, right? I know that was for me. I know it's for me too, because sometimes I got to talk to myself. Yes, I have to talk to myself because people don't understand your struggle because they don't have that call. People think you crazy. They don't have that call. And it's not like, and you're the most humble person. You're the easiest person to get along with. You like everybody. I know for me, I get along with anybody. The cat, the dog. I could be sitting there talking to the cat and cat knees and the dog. We're just easy people. But the thing is, when folks see that light on you and that I call it that David effect, okay? When they see that excellent spirit in you, that brings about jealousy. It brings about jealousy. And your job is not to dim that. Your job is not to dim that. Your job is to let your light shine. And people will try to categorize that and say you're arrogant and say you're this and say you're that. And you know you humble because you know where the devil you come from. You know where you came from. But that don't mean that you can't shine bright. That don't mean that you can't be confident in God and in Christ. Because if you told people where you came from, they'll look at you like you're crazy. But it's not your job to try to make people feel good about themselves. Hi, Zayden. It's not your job to make people feel good about themselves by saying the worst about you. Because sometimes we do that. We'll try to downplay our light to make other people feel good about themselves. But we can't be doing that. That's not your job. Your job is to shine bright, be kind to everybody, let your light shine. Let your light shine before man, and you keep going. And stop being nice to everybody. You ain't got to be nice to everybody. You can be kind. You can be kind, but you ain't got to be nice to everybody. Because people feel like because you say you believe in God, you say you this and that, they think you're supposed to be a doormat. They think you're supposed to be a doormat. Okay? And that's not no. That's not love. That's not loving yourself like your neighbor. Okay? So we got to stop all this foolishness that we take on and we got to stop all of that. That's not healthy at all. But I just wanted to come share that message with you all. And I wanted to just let you all know that, give you all that message. I didn't know I was going to be on here this long. Oh my goodness. But you all stay encouraged and just know that your backup is spiritual. Keep going. Don't stop being who you are. Don't be distracted. Don't stop being you, because I know a lot of times when you are just because you're chosen, you're very empathetic. You're very empathetic, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna go. You're very empathetic, and you can feel a lot of energy. You can feel a lot of people's emotions and ups and downs. And sometimes you can take that on as your own. You can let them shift how you're navigating. And you can't do that. You have to keep yourself in a grounded place and not let their energy come in and knock you off your grounds. You have to be so firm and rooted in your own self and your own energy that you don't allow their energy to throw you off. And I know it's hard because you're so sensitive. When you're sensitive in your spirit, it's hard. If you got to go and run out, go outside the restroom or leave your house, do it. Because I understand. You got to get strengthened in that place. You don't want to quench and stop that, but you want to have more control. Ask God to give you more control over that. Because you can feel all them different shifts in people's energies. I mean, you can feel them. Up and down, they go quick. It's almost like you can hear what they're saying spiritually, and some of you all can. You can hear their spirits talking and chatting. You can hear, it's almost like that that movie. I think it was called Powder, where the boy could hear. He had this. I think he had telepathy. He can hear people's thoughts, and it was driving him crazy. People are like that for real. You got people like that for real, and they don't understand it's a gift. People think they're crazy. Them folks are not crazy. They're just anointed and called from birth, and they just don't know it. They don't know it. So, anyways, you all, I gotta go. So you all be blessed. I'll come in and talk to y'all another time.